I'm stupid. I'm doing it right now.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? This is E Honda 420 again with another chat because it's all we fucking do is chats. How's it going, guys? I hope everybody out there is doing well tonight. I don't know, dude. I had like this weird feeling earlier today, and then I was watching this thing, and they were like, Trump at Madison Square Garden. And I'm like, I don't know. Something in my head was like, something's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen tonight. I just had a feeling. So I posted something in Discord just to like, I don't know, fucking dispel the thing that was happening. I'm not sure if I did anything or not. I probably didn't, honestly. Let's be honest. But nothing happened at Madison Square Garden. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome, I mean. Sorry, I took a nap. I took an accidental nap. I was like getting ready for the chat, and then I ate some dinner, and I was like, well, I'm just going to like lay down and watch this video real quick. And that was at like 6:30. Now it's like 8 o'clock. I woke up like 10 minutes ago and sent out links and everything, you know? So
nice.
Awesome job. Way to go, Honda. Fucking on top of the ball. Although I was saying the other day, I wish that I had time every single day for a little nap. I always feel better when I have a nap. I always feel like less aggravated by things and more patient, and like my brain works better. And, you know, naps are where it's at, bro. Like when I was young, and I'm sure you guys have this similar experience, your parents made you take a nap and you fucking hated doing it. And it was the worst thing ever. And nap time, and then you'd like fall asleep and then you wake up all groggy, and like naps fucking sucked when you were a kid. When you're an adult, man, a fucking nap is magic. Would you agree?
That's all I want, baby.
Unless it's too long and then you wake up all like groggy.
Well, that's how you know you're like really behind on sleep, right? And I didn't realize this until COVID happened. You know, like when everyone lost their job and then we sat around for 9 months playing video games online. It was pretty fun.
That didn't happen for me. I just kept going to work.
Well, some people have to suck the D, I guess, but
No.
the rest of us, it was actually kind of a magical time. But I went from like fucking so far behind on sleep that I didn't even realize it. Like that first like week, dude, I slept like as much as I could. So I'm like, I got nothing else to do. I might as well get caught up on sleep. And every day I'd wake up and I'm like, God damn, I'm fucking tired as shit. I slept like 10 hours last night. How can I fucking get more sleep than this? Like, how am I still tired? This doesn't make any sense. And then, you know, you do it the next night, tired again, do it the next night, tired again, do it the next night, tired again. Eventually, I woke up and it was like the birds were chirping and the sunshine was like a little extra crisp, and the smell of coffee, like I didn't even like need it. And for the first time, and I don't know how long, I woke up not fucking tired. I woke up rested. So I was just that fucking far behind on sleep that it took, I don't know, almost 2 weeks of just sleeping as much as I possibly could to even think about like catching up.
What was your
But
diet
now-
like too? Because that plays a part.
Probably. I don't fucking know. I put on, like, that was the other thing. Like, during COVID, like, I couldn't go anywhere for, especially that first, like, 3 months, dude, because I didn't have any money coming in. And no income means, like, the less you do, the better, you know? Like, the less money you spend, the less you go out, the less gas you fucking burn in your car, the better all around. So I just shut down all activities and, you know, fucking locked down the hatches and stayed the fuck home. And, you know, it was pretty bad. And so, like, physically, because my body was used to like doing so much work all the time, I don't know, I still wanted calories. I still wanted the calories like I was working. And it doesn't take long for that to fucking go wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so I've been catching back up ever since. And, you know, I think I'm about back to normal now. But that took quite a while to get back to normal. And the rest of us, the rest of the country, I still think are not back to normal. There is no such thing as normal again.
No.
But yeah. Anyway, we got Never Enough Ambo here. Hello, Never. Change the B to a G.
Helps if I turn my microphone on.
Good morning. Okay, good talk. Ohio Patriot, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Oh, I've been better. I'm gonna have to move here in about a week or so, give or take.
Well, shit, man. You got a place to go yet?
I'm working on one right now. I'm about 90% of the way there. It's probably going to be a rental from the guy that's my realtor right now. And if it works out, it'll be a long-term rental. So,
Well, I hope it works out, man. Leo, what's up, dude?
What up?
How's things in Chirac?
It was 2 shots fired last night. I don't think nobody got hit. It was late night.
Are you down 2 rounds in your mag, or
Shaft scanner.
Yeah. It was not me. But I finally went back to work in damn near a month today. So, yay.
Like they gave you a shift or
Right.
your actual schedule?
A whole shift.
You got one shift this week?
Yep.
this month?
Oh, but I also found out that we getting a new boss too. So,
Dude,
thank God that no one's going.
Call HR and be like, they're fucking me over because I'm black.
Actually, I think half of the staff did that.
Yeah, that's why they're all getting
They call
shifts
my
from your number.
Yeah.
Lawfully armed. How's things behind the gun counter?
It's all right. It's hunting season, so it's picked up.
Have things been pretty slow as far as gun sales? Like, how long have you been working behind the gun counter?
Cumulatively, about 14 years.
Okay, so you got a pretty good amount of experience dealing with people and level of business and such. How has it been lately, in your opinion?
It's been the slowest year ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's been the worst year of business transactions that I have ever seen in my adult life. I mean, I've been working since 1998, so we're talking in the last, I don't know, 26 years. This is the worst year I've ever fucking seen. By like a significant amount. I mean, I guess you could make an argument for 2020 being worse because everyone was out of work, but at least like we were getting money from something, you know? Versus now it's like everyone's just on their own. It's like that meme of like the dude's like drowning and the hand goes to pick him up, but then it like grabs Ukraine instead. You know? Whatever.
Mm.
Fuck off. Tactical muffin top. How's the muffin?
Muffin is tired. I uninstalled a water softener today, and the guy doesn't want to do a replacement because he's too poor to do one. I did a thermostat replacement today, and then I worked on my own fucking house. I had to tear apart my dryer vent line and clean that bitch out because it needed done. Tactical muffin top is tired. Oh, and we did like 2 trick-or-treating things.
What does that mean?
I went to 2 different trick-or-treating events, one at the hospital, one at the church.
Oh, you're
Like
active in the
treats.
community. You're like one of those Boy Scouts or something.
Something like that, yeah. Hashtag side gigs because the economy is terrible.
Who's the guy riding the Goldwing off-road?
What?
I don't know. Who's the guy? What are you looking at, bro?
Yeah, what are you looking at?
There's at no point been any dude riding a fucking Goldwing off-road that, I mean, on YouTube, there's probably a lot of that going on somewhere if you find it. During the height of COVID, my factory was working 6 to 7 12-hour days. Years straight.
You are underwater, Honda.
Riz
And
says,
sexy.
during the height of the COVID, my factory was working 6 to 7 12-hour days straight for a year. That's quite a bit. I mean, when I worked construction, dude, that's what we did. It was Monday through Saturday, 12 hours. Sunday, 8 hours. Like, that was more than I wanted to work. And it was like 70 hours a week, something like that. And then you consider the job sites are anywhere from 30 minutes away if you're super fucking lucky to like 2 hours away would be how far you'd have to drive to get to work. So when, like work starts at 6 and it's 2 hours away, I have to leave the house at 4. Otherwise I'm running late. And, work's done at 6:30 because they don't pay you for your half an hour break. So they take you all the way to like 6:31 before they shut down the machines. And then you can go park them. And then you can get your shit. And so by the time you're actually leaving the job site at 7 o'clock, and then you fucking drive 2 hours home, it's 9 o'clock by the time you get home, and you have to be awake at 4 o'clock in the morning with your shit ready to walk out the fucking door. Dude, that was hard. That was not fun. That killed me, bro. And like I had a newborn baby at the time. Like my oldest son was fucking brand new. So on top of it, like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, let me feed you a bottle and shit because his mom had fucking postpartum depression and I was doing everything I could to hold the fucking family together. Dude, that was fucking rough. And no one fucking like appreciates fathers for what they fucking do. They just expect it. They just expect everybody in the world to just be like this Superman, Iron Man, fucking like every man who can do everything for everybody all the time and never needs sleep and always has patience and, like never fucking does anything wrong. It's like, bro, the standards are so fucking high. And then they throw in like, oh, if he's not making 6 figures and if he's not 6'2" and if he's not, like all the fucking things that they fucking want. It's like, okay, like throw that in too. Like how many dudes do you think fit the mold of what you want?
Amen, bro. A fucking man.
They actually figured that out recently. It's like 1 or 2% at most.
But going back to the construction thing and the hours and stuff, I actually love doing that when as an HVAC tech, dude. The long hours, I didn't even give a fuck about my first 40-hour paycheck. I looked at that OT check and I was like, holy fuck, I'm pulling in bucks, bro.
Yeah, there was a point though, like, okay, if I worked like 65 hours, I would get, I forget what the paycheck was, but whatever the amount was after tax. And then if I worked that next 8 hours and brought it up to 73, I only made like 10 extra bucks.
Oh, jeez.
Because
I did a lot of 80 hours.
It bumped you up into the next fucking tax bracket. So they tax you at a higher rate. So basically all the extra money that you make just goes straight to the fucking gut. And they were always like, oh, come on, you want to work the extra day, right? You're going to make extra money, right? Come on, man. What the fuck? It's like, dude, what the fuck is fucking right, bro? I would like to do things besides show up to work and be here from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to sleep for the rest of my fucking life. Yeah, every dude, every single person at that job, every single motherfucker who worked there was divorced.
Yeah.
Not it's like funny, but it's not a joke. Like,
right.
It's because you're never home.
Yeah.
E-Honda 420, the advocate.
Affirmative on the dad gig. Preach that. Been there, done that. Wiped my ass with the t-shirt. Says MSB 9021. Dude, dads get no fucking respect. No regard. And like, especially in these days, it's like, oh, you're fucking up, huh? Well, I can marry the state, fucking divorce you, or if we were even married or whatever, take you to court, get child support from you, get fucking free healthcare from the state, get benefits from the state to take care of everything else, work like 10 hours a week, maybe, pay all my bills, chill the fuck out for the rest of my life, and I'm on an easy meal ticket getting dick on a fucking merry-go-round, right? Like, why would they stay with you? Like, everything's better when they leave. Like, literally, money's better. They have freedom. They can do whatever they want. They put the kids on you when they don't want the kids so that they can just go off and get dick and do whatever you know what I mean? Like, this is the way things fucking work now. And, like, maybe you're out there and you found a good girl and she's not going to do that to you. And if so, fucking amen to you, brother. I hope everything stays that way. And I hope it never fucking changes for you. But for the rest of us, especially for you kids coming up, like you fucking 20-somethings who are listening right now, who are like talking to some fucking anime chick or whatever that's into fucking weird shit. who has daddy issues and fucking got mentally fucked up, and she's voting for Joe Biden because she's afraid of fucking abortion laws and stuff like that. Good luck. I hope everything works out for you. I know it's not going to. So this message is specifically for you, but I hope I'm fucking wrong. You know, I hope you find the fucking needle in the haystack. You find that like piece of gold in the dirt somewhere, but the rest of it's fucking dirt, boys. You're just digging in dirt.
PSA: if Joe Biden is on your ballot, vote for him.
Is he still on the ballot?
He shouldn't be, but it was funny that you
Is
said
he on
they were
still?
voting for Joe.
Nice.
I gotta look at my ballot now. Oh, where is my ballot?
A friend of mine sent me a picture of his Colorado mail-in ballot. He's like, I didn't even ask for this. They just sent this shit out.
Yeah, it's everybody now in Colorado. It's like the house.
He's like, there's no verification of this. Like anybody can just fill this out and put it in the mailbox.
Well, they did that story. I don't know if you guys saw that, where Jenna Griswold, the DA of Colorado, who's so concerned about voter rights that she fucking found 12 ballots somehow that had been delivered to the wrong house or something like that, but then got intercepted somehow and then filled out and returned, and they knew right away that these 12 ballots weren't right. And so they intercepted them, and then they had this huge fucking press conference where they were talking about the ballots they intercepted. And I'm like, bro, Colorado is the place where Dominion voting systems is like centrally located in the United States. We are the central hub of voter cheating, if there is such a thing in this country. They're only doing this to obfuscate things. They're only doing that to like make everyone think that like everything's on the level. Like, oh, see, they're looking out and they're catching it. So I'm thinking about doing some shady shit with my vote this year, like not voting and seeing what happens. Because like Trump ain't gonna win Colorado unless we win the national popular vote, you know. And Colorado's got its weird fucking rules, and I bet they'll do something about that if that happens to not give them the points. But regardless, my vote here in Colorado does not matter one way or another, one fucking iota.
I wouldn't waste your vote.
We need every vote we can get.
Like,
I'm going to not send it in and then see if there's a voter like registration checking website where you can track your vote and see where you voted and stuff like that. And I want to see if they vote for me or if my vote somehow shows up. I also want to check my mom, who's been dead since 1998, to see if she voted, and my dad, who died in 2021, to see if he voted, and my sister, who died in 2019, to see if she voted. So there's a bunch of dead people. And did you hear about, I forget what state it was, they took a whole bunch of people off their voter rolls, a bunch of people who were illegal, who were not, you know, for one reason or another, they weren't able to vote, whether they be felons or illegal immigrants or moved to a different state or whatever the case is. And I forget what state it was, but they spent the time and they took like 500,000 fucking people off the voter rolls who weren't supposed to be there. And the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland earlier today decided less than 2 weeks before the election that what they did with their voter rolls wasn't right, and they put those names back on the voter rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys still think Trump's going to win?
I think
landslide.
If everyone talks at the same time, then no one hears anything.
I still give it 50-50.
Yeah, that's what I'm just about to say, 50-50.
I think he will, but he won't be validated. They won't allow him to take office.
Yeah, because there's that going on, because they've already openly stated basically that they have a plot to deny the results of the election if Trump wins and claim that because he's an insurrectionist, he is ineligible to be the president, and then declare Kamala Harris the president by default. Right? With the full response from the government where they bring in, you know, troops and things and stuff, and because they know that everyone's going to be pissed. They know that the Trump voters are going to know that the shit's not on the fucking level and that everyone got fucked over. So they're already planning on doing this shit. They're already got all the pieces in place. So if the cheat doesn't work, they've already got a plan B. I mean, I think plan B was already fucking shoot Trump in the head. Oops, we missed. We got his ear. Oops, they caught the guy. Oops, they foiled the plan from fucking Iran. Oops, I bet there's probably going to be another one before the fucking election, right? Oh, none of that worked? Well, we'll just cheat on the vote. Whoa, the people we thought would vote for us didn't even vote for us. In fact, a lot of them voted for Trump to the point where our cheating didn't even work. Well, then we've got a plan fucking C, which is keep him out of office and do all the things that I just said. So you guys say 50-50. I say like 10%. He's got a 10% chance of making it. Because everything's stacked against him. Do you think anything's changed since the 2020 election? The Democrats hold all the fucking keys, dude. They have complete fucking control of the election system from top to bottom, from left to right, and inside and out. From every fucking angle. He's not going to win. Unless something miraculous happens.
Yeah, I think it would have to be a landslide vote for him to really win. So
right.
It's almost impossible to cheat, but they still gonna try anyway. But it's gonna be too obvious.
Well, let's say like he squeaks by the Electoral College, you know, does not win the popular vote because that's the way things work. And effectively wins the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're gonna say like, oh, well, the Electoral College needs to go away, and you know they're gonna do everything that they can to get him out of office. They're gonna do everything that they can to like stack the Supreme Court with more justices as soon as they possibly can to fucking get whatever laws they want. They control everything, dude. They control the media, they control the government, they control the deep state, they control the fucking like. The finances, they control a lot of other countries. They control a lot of fucking shit. And everyone on the left who thinks that like the left is the party for the people has drank the Kool-Aid already. They're just waiting to fucking die. You know? Like things are not fucking good in this country. And even if Trump gets in office, I still don't know if things can be turned around. I still think it might be too late. Because again, who's got their hands on the fucking levers of power? Even if Trump gets into office, it's not like everyone's hands get slapped away instantly and no one can do anything, bro. Fuck that. They're going to pull the lever. They're going to, whatever lever of power they have or whatever means that they have to fuck shit up, whatever means that they have to like screw up the economy or like trigger fucking North Korea or like, you know, activate the fucking terror cells in the country or you fucking name it, dude. There's so many different pitfalls. There's so many different nails in the road just waiting to fucking pop our tire. And we're going to hit one.
There's last
miles of road ahead. There's no way we're not going to hit one. Sorry, go ahead.
In the last week or so, Richard Blumenthal is apparently going to has already introduced or is about to introduce a piece of legislation into the U.S. Senate that would effectively strip Trump of insurrection powers. So there's talk going around that they're going to basically activate Antifa and BLM to do a bunch of rioting, and Trump would have no way to insurrection act their asses.
Motherfuckers.
Of course, yeah, if Trump wins, they're going to be out in full force. It's going to be ugly.
Well, then there's also Jimmy Raskin, who's admitted that they're not going to certify the election for Trump, too.
Do you think they do? I think they'd almost have to do large riots at basically every capital city in every single state. Do you think they do that for this?
Yeah.
It makes sense. They're bringing enough fighting age males at this point already.
They did it for the Summer of Love.
Yeah.
No, every state.
Think about how many people have been brought into this country since that happened, like post Summer of Love, who fucking hate this country, who are fucking criminals, who are like bad actors who are here to do bad fucking things. How many do you think? Hundreds of thousands? tens of thousands, millions, maybe.
At
Million.
minimum, hundreds of thousands.
I mean, we let in 500,000 criminals that we know about, like convicted criminals who were out on bail or released by their government and directly shipped over here with George Soros money in buses, like using our fucking border patrol agents not to stop them, not to secure the border, but to herd the people in quicker. And when they were passing a law to hire 1,500 more agents, that was all the agents were going to do, was like fucking grease up the system so they could fit more people through more quickly. Like there was no fucking border security there fucking ever. And not to mention how many children are missing, untracked, don't know where they're at. Are they sex slaves? Are they slaves? Are they dead? We don't know. 25,000 children in this fucking country in the last 4 fucking years? And no one on the left is talking about that. And if you mention it to anyone on the left, they say that you're a liar. They say that you're fucking insane. They say that your numbers are fucking crazy. But where do you get those numbers? Anyone? Oh, that's right. Border Patrol. It's not made up.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the numbers that they gave us. Those are the numbers that they're going on. Those are the children that they processed in their fucking process, that they let through into this country, that they put on buses and airplanes and whatever to all over this fucking country, never tested to see if they were actually with their parents or not, because a lot of them fucking weren't, because these children are used like mules to get people across the border, because if you come across the border, you got to wait in line. But if you come across the border with a child with you, you get to be at the front of the line, and you get benefits, and you get health care, and you get free clothes, and they take care of you first. So children are a fucking commodity. Children are a fucking goddamn fucking, like that. They're a golden calf. You get to bring that across the border with you and just fucking sail through the rest of life. So I'm going to steal a kid. I'm going to fucking murder a family and grab a kid if I have to. Right? Because why wouldn't you? That's exactly what it's incentivizing.
Which is disgusting.
I feel as though George Floyd 2.0 was coming.
Do you remember when there's that George Floyd mural in, I think it was Chicago. I can't remember where it was at.
No, it was here in Ohio.
That got struck by lightning? That was Ohio?
Ohio?
Yeah, it was one of the minor cities here.
Dude, that's seriously like God coming down and being like, fuck your movement.
If Trump wins, actually, I think it's going to be worse if Trump wins. Period.
Nate Silver says 93% chance for Trump to win. Dude, okay. Again, if the vote was held and it was on the level and the votes were counted how they should be and the machines aren't used or are used correctly and the fucking lines of code that they can put in them aren't put in them and the Democrat people aren't fucking throwing out Republican votes and fucking cheating and doing all the things and the people aren't bringing in fucking ballots from like a fucking speed printer offsite and fucking bringing them in by the truckload and like all of the things that happen that like we know fucking happened in 2020 with beyond a fucking shadow of a doubt happened in 2020. If all of those things happen again, 93% chance of winning my ass. Sorry to say.
I saw a video earlier. I'm not sure what state it was in, but it was a dude opening up the mail-in ballots. As soon as he saw Trump was on the ticket marked, he just ripped the shit in half.
And recorded it and put it online for everyone to see because he's virtue signaling to the rest of the people on the left of like, oh, see, look how great I am for throwing away Trump votes. Isn't that great? Ha 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 ha. Oh, I didn't get in any trouble for it at all, so neither will you. Ha 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 ha. I even posted it online myself on my own social media where they could find me if they wanted to and prosecute me for this crime, but I know that they're not going to because I'm working on behalf of the powers that should not be. Everyone hop on board and do it too. You think we're gonna fucking win?
No, I'm just depressed.
Why do I feel like I'm yelling at people tonight? No one's talking.
You
Yelling.
scared me.
No, I'm just
Because
thinking
when we all
like
talk at once.
I think a lot, for me is I think a lot of the Democrats want Trump to win, so they can cause more chaos.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I think it's a good chance that Trump would win, and they will allow him to win just to cause chaos for the next election. Because then they can start off with a clean slate.
I mean, yeah, and I guess that there's always that plan on the off chance that, you know, and I'm saying 10% chance, not 93, but like that 10% chance that like enough people show up and vote to overwhelm the vote to the point where they can't cheat it. Well, I guess in that case he wins, but what happens in that case? And the other thing doesn't work where they try to keep him out of office by fucking judicial means, right? Well, then they've got a whole nother plan, and that you nailed part of it, which is put people out on the streets, protesters against Trump because he's obviously Hitler, and you know Hitler had a whole term in office and he didn't do Hitler shit. But don't worry, next term he's going to start doing the Hitler shit. I know it because I can read his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Are you even here, Matt?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Jacking it.
In front of my microphone.
You're very angry.
He's prepping. You're angry.
All right. So Honda's super blackpilled. So let's look at the alternative. If Trump doesn't win, we're all fucked anyways.
Oh, boy,
Because
yeah.
come into first quarter next year, when they drop our credit rating again and everyone starts calling to collect on our debt and the economy collapses, I mean, how is that gonna?
Then there's the next pandemic, right? The George Floyd 2.0.
Then Harambe 2.0.
Yeah,
I mean, I would rather Trump win and some blue hairs throw a temper tantrum and light some shit fires in shit cities.
No,
Get
I
out of their
think it'll
system
be-
and everybody go back to work.
No, but here's the thing. Like Ledon still said, it's gonna be times 10 though. It's gonna be worse than what happened in 2020.
Times 50. Avery State.
Well, what the fuck have y'all all been prepping for?
Well, I mean, the problem is that for the past decade almost now, a lot of these mindless, look nothing up, do no research for myself, yet have strong opinions, leftoid, retarded, fucking faggot fucks out there who think that they know everything and think that they're part of like the moral majority, the tolerant left, while they smash your teeth in and fucking break your fucking windows, right? These motherfuckers have been programmed by the media, which is nothing more than a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, of the powers that should not be, have been programmed by this media to think that Trump is nothing more than Hitler, Stalin, Mao, all the bad people you've ever seen in history, like Genghis Khan, probably. He's got fucking traces of that in his blood. You know, he's all of these things combined. And if you could stop Hitler when he was a baby, wouldn't you? If you could just tie fucking little baby Hitler's fucking umbilical cord around his neck and squeeze the light out of baby Hitler, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be doing a good thing? Oh, do you know who's Hitler right now? Trump. We're just going to leave that there and see what you guys do. No, we're not influencing people. No, we're not inciting violence against anybody. How dare you even insinuate that? We've just been talking about how Hitler's Hitler and how you should stop Hitler if you have the chance to stop Hitler. And now we have a Hitler right now. And, oh, wait, we are totally doing that. That's exactly what we're fucking doing.
No,
That's
but
exactly to the T what they're fucking doing.
lawfully armed is right, though. Like, step back for a second. Like, whatever happens, it's going to probably not be great. You know, the comment, what the hell y'all prepping for? It's to ease our family in and have some sense of normality and those we love. And the people that aren't prepping, it is going to be hell for them. We will be able to limp along with something other than nothing. So not saying, you know, stop prepping, but we can't just, you know, bitch and moan about it and expect it to get any better at the same point, you know?
Honda, remember a couple months back when you were very passionate about your fatherly duty to not let your sons be sent to war, that you would do whatever it took, like fuck them, they can, like over your dead body, were they going to draft your sons?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not go vote? Why is your eldest? I hope your eldest son is now registered to vote. You all ought to go vote together in person
as a team.
Because the vote in Colorado does not, like, if
that's the attitude that got us here.
Every Republican in Colorado voted, and half the Democrats voted, the Democrats would still win.
Still, stand and be counted. Conduct your business in daylight. Because if half the Republicans that wouldn't outmatch the Democrats all are apathetic and say, well, my vote doesn't matter, I'm just going to not participate, then no, you won't ever win.
Not in Colorado. You're right. We will never, ever
because
win in Colorado, ever again.
The government teats are motivated to show up.
Whether I vote or not, whether I register my kids, whether I take my neighbors, whether I get my entire apartment complex, whether I start a fucking podcast and get 100,000 people in Colorado to vote, it will literally make zero difference in the next, unless things change. It will literally make no difference. I'm telling you right now.
You still do your part.
Yeah, I'm doing my part by talking about it. I'm doing my part by coming up with ideas and coming up and doing these chats and talking to you guys and having these fucking discussions. But as far as my vote in Colorado goes, it's a drop of water in the fucking ocean, baby. It makes no difference to the fucking water level.
It adds to the popular vote, like Jason J said.
But then, like he said, like they might try to switch it up anyway.
Stephen Carroll says if Trump wins, they got to go out. They get to go all out about how racist and sexist the country is, so maybe they're rooting for him. Yeah, I could see that.
Well, the media, I think, would not have a problem because if you look at, I mean, just something simple like ratings for the last 4 years versus the 4 years before then, their ratings are tanked. They have no one to rally against. I mean, Trump gets elected, CNN's ratings go up. More people start watching CNN. Same thing with MSNBC and ABC and CBS and all these fucksticks.
If you don't vote, you don't
would
have
do
the
better
right
if he was in office.
Bro, that's fucking retarded. If you don't vote, you don't have the right to bitch about anything. It is about the most retarded thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. We have rights in this country.
What kind of example are you setting for your kids if they decide to move from Colorado by not voting? It's something we can do. The pen is still yet mightier than the sword. Until the power of that shifts to the point where the pen is useless, you still have to use it.
I'll tell you what. If there's ever a chance in whatever state that I reside in for the rest of my life that my vote might have any kind of an effect one way or another, then I'll vote. Until that happens, I'm not like, dude, I voted last time. I voted the time before that. I voted this would be the third time I voted for Trump now, if I voted this time. Right?
Yep.
But there's still local stuff to vote for on the ballot.
Right, which are heavily like just as fucking Democrat as any. We have the most Democrat fucking run state in the goddamn country. And it's only getting stronger and stronger. It's not getting weaker. There's no resistance. Democrat this time around than there was last time. There's more people living in this state who are Democrat leaning than there was last time. Colorado's lost unless something changes.
Yeah, I didn't even vote for mayor last time because I thought both candidates was horrible. So I was just like, fuck it.
Well, you just said if something changes, how would any change happen if there's no resistance at all?
If the demographics of the state change or the politics change or if the fucking political climate itself changes, or if there's some world war that changes the way that political expression happens in this country, or if there's some way that the vote in Colorado changes to make it different, where we're not just going with the popular vote of the country. There's several ways that it can happen that aren't just like floating along. Oh my God, we just stumbled upon land because we're on a fucking raft and we found. No, dude, that's not what I'm fucking saying. So whatever, dude. And plus, this is an experiment anyway. If you guys were listening, it's not like, oh, I'm giving up on voting forever because fucking you shouldn't vote either. Did I ever say that? No. I said I'm not voting as an experiment to see if they fucking vote for me. I'm going to check my vote with a website that tells you if you voted or not and how you voted. I'm going to check my mom. I'm going to check my sister. I'm going to check my dad. All three of them are dead. None of them can vote. If the four of us, any one of the four of us happens to have voted in this election, I think that's dead to rights proof that they're fucking cheating. That's what I'm doing, and that would have a greater effect by far than any vote that I could possibly do if I just voted fucking the normal way. So, yeah, if you're trying to change things, voting isn't always the most powerful thing you can do. Sometimes catching them in a lie would be 10 times more, 1,000 times more powerful than your vote would count.
Can you not check your vote even if you do vote?
You can check your vote.
Okay, so we might as well just do both.
Cool. Can you vote in their name? That would be illegal.
I mean, I kind of feel Honda on that because same thing how I feel about Illinois and Chicago. It's kind of too far gone when it comes to like voting locally. Like what? So I'm voting for a Democrat against another Democrat who's going to deal with the same bullshit, just in a different way. Like, what the hell am I voting for?
I don't know, man. I just think that there's obviously okay. So like you were talking about that guy who saw the votes and it was like, oh, this one's for Trump and threw it away.
Mhm.
Well, the guy on the ballot thought that his vote mattered, and he did everything he could, right? And he sent it in, and they threw it away. Didn't count.
Well, that's why it's even more important to go vote in person, if that be the case, because it's way harder for them to do that shit if you're going to mail in.
And again, dude, I'm not telling anybody out there that you shouldn't vote. Like, if you live in a place like Leo where you're outnumbered here, like in Colorado, and you decide to vote, I'm not like, oh, you're fucking retarded. You shouldn't do that. I'm telling you what I'm going to do.
I mean, but plus there's also a safety issue if you're trying to go into vote in person, depending on where you live. And they think you're going to vote for the person that they don't want to win. That's also a issue. So it doesn't matter if it's a mail-in ballot or going in person, depending on where you're at. It's still risk.
Dude, how fucking sick would it be if every state flipped red this year?
Well, I don't
What,
think
it'd be
that.
like Reagan in the 80s? Yeah.
That'd be historic. That'd be amazing.
I mean, there's a lot of suburban women now that are going to vote for Trump because the Democrats have gone so far in the trans stuff with trying to sexually
Change their kids, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do like the sex changes and stuff with children.
Well, they can't be excited about their girls competing in athletics.
That's another thing too, as well.
Like those moms that live vicariously through their daughters that participate in sports. And
The guy who's running against Ted Cruz in Texas, Colin something or other, he actually had to backtrack on the shit and take a stance against the left because of this.
Daniel dropped in a $5 super chat.
He did, in fact.
Trump is polling 0.3% to win the national vote. Every fucking vote matters, bro. Stop being so black-pilled and drop that shit off in a box. No. Next question.
Hunter, are you angry because you had a nap?
No, I'm angry because like I say something and you know, rather than being like, okay, cool, got it. Everyone's like, oh, you're dumb. You should do the thing that I want you to do. Like, no, dude, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna fucking do.
I understand where you're coming from, Honda, because you're trying to prove voter fraud is what it is.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm like, say what you want, fucking hate me, say all the things you fucking want. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna fucking do. And I never told anyone what they should do, so stop telling me what I should fucking do.
Next subject matter.
Yeah. Anywho, did you guys watch the Trump Joe Rogan?
I did
Yes.
watch part of that.
Yep.
I'm like a little past halfway through it. It's
No,
a
you-
3-hour thing. I think I'm an hour 45 in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think I
about where I'm
got
at.
2 hours in. I got
You could tell Rogan had to like tug him along to keep him on topic on a lot of the time.
Yeah, he was weaving. He was weaving far.
Had to like cut him off and suck him off a little bit to get him to hurry through stories and stuff.
No, it's kind of like that Neil deGrasse Tyson thing where you got so much in your head you're trying to get out that it kind of veers off to the side a little bit. Then you just got to rope them back in.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's that same thing.
Didn't Neil deGrasse Tyson get a bunch of shit because he interrupted Joe Rogan like 70 times or something during the interview?
Yeah, because you know it's with him. Like you can tell there's something in his head that he has to get out. So he's like, yeah, it's kind of like he's been like a little too anxious, and it just comes out.
So I've watched the whole thing twice now. Because you know how like you take the time to watch like TV shows and movies and stuff, Matt.
Yes.
I do that with long form content sometimes, and yeah, I watch the shit out of it. He did a good job explaining a lot of things that were not clear to people who aren't really into Trump if they are into Joe Rogan, which I don't know the Venn diagram of how that looks. I feel like there's a lot of overlap of people who like Trump and also like Joe Rogan. So I think a lot of the views that got, that were had on that interview or whatever were just like people confirming what they already want or like or would vote for, right? But there is a fair amount of people who are apolitical, of people who are left-leaning, even, who watch Joe Rogan regularly and would probably watch this because they would trust that Joe Rogan, for good or for bad, would at least do an honest job in interviewing the man and getting like truth out of him and calling him on his bullshit, because that's something that Joe Rogan's known for on his show is like, if someone's there just spouting bullshit, like, he might play along for a minute, but eventually he'll call you out on it. And like, he does kind of go wishy-washy and go along to get along with people for the sake of the interview sometimes, and he's gotten some shit for that. But when there's an obvious, blatant lie or someone's not being clear about something, he will clarify it and he will call out the lie. So because of that, there's a lot of people who trust Joe Rogan, and having this kind of copacetic interview with Trump on his show, I think is showcasing something that they probably haven't seen before. These people who are left-leaning or apolitical who watch Joe Rogan. My only question is, how many people is that? How many people fall into that small niche group of people who weren't already going to vote for Trump and also really like Joe Rogan? Like maybe a couple 100,000, maybe a million. I don't know. I don't know how many people that is.
I enjoyed it. It was kind of weird compared to some of the stuff that he did because he was kind of going on so many topics, which I think it was to hit, maybe a different audience on the Rogan side, trying to just cover as much ground as he could. Which, man, it's like fucking 3 hours long, man. They covered a lot of shit. I'm about halfway through it. I thought it was good, but he went on some crazy shit and then just kept adding and adding to it. And Rogan kind of put a collar on him and brought him back. It's like, okay, wait. Let's answer this question that I asked. It's my show, kind of deal. It was good though.
Well, and then they go into like, I don't know if you watch the whole thing to that point yet, but they talk about fighting for a while, and they talk about like things that have nothing to do with politics, and then they get back into it, and they end up talking about the 2020 election and why Trump has so many times claimed that it was stolen, and what proof does he have? And I don't think he did the best job of laying it out, but like you mentioned, the Hunter Biden laptop story, which would have swung the vote anywhere from 5 to 15 points, depending on the polls or whatever. And when he lost by like such a narrow margin, that alone fucking was a election engineering rigging type thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also mentioned how, well, if you change all the rules right before an election, you have to go through a process to do that. And many of these states didn't go through that process. They just changed the rules. So therefore they were now fucking, oh, sorry, I was reading. So now like the rule changes they had are unconstitutional and those votes shouldn't count. And there was also, there was a court ruling, I think it was yesterday or something like that, in Kansas, or I'm not sure where. It was some state Supreme Court stating that any ballots that are received, not cast, but received after midnight on election day are not valid votes. If they don't get to the voting place by midnight, then they don't fucking count.
For this election there. Good.
So we'll see if the fucking courts actually uphold that one, but that's the ruling as of right now. But I mean, like, think about it. Like, that's why everyone's expecting the vote to like, oh, like every other year that we've ever had a vote before 2020, like 2016 and every other time that we've ever had a vote. We know who won the night of the vote, if not the very next morning when you wake up first thing, you know? Like, you stay up late enough, you'll know. Or if you wake up early the next day, you'll know. But now it's like, oh, well, it's going to be like 5 to 7 days, like 2 weeks later, we'll find out. Maybe by the end of the year. Like, what in the fuck kind of voting system do we have here?
It's fucked up.
Real quick, to go back to the Joe Rogan thing. The important part about Trump going on Joe Rogan is the same thing that was important about him going on Theo Von's podcast and the Flagrant podcast and all these places like that. It is not important for him to sit there and talk about specifics. It is important for him to be likable. It is important for him outside of mainstream media fucking setting the narrative of who this person is when they talk to their audience. It's for him to get a chance to talk to Joe Rogan or talk to Andrew Schultz or talk to Theo Von face to face and have just a fucking conversation. And he's done that very well on all these podcasts he's gone on. He's come across as likable and intelligent and somebody who just seems like a good dude, regardless of whether he answers specific policy questions the right way or anything else. That's what he was there to do. And I think he, so far, I mean, again, I'm an hour 45 into it, but just judging by the hour 45 I've watched so far, judging by watching the Flagrant podcast and Theo Von's podcast and all these other places he's been going, he's been doing a really good job of just like being a normal dude, having conversations with people and coming across as likable, which is something that Kamala can't do.
Right.
Biden never did. And it directly defeats the mainstream media's narrative of trying to tell people who this guy is. And I think that that's been really successful for him.
And honestly, like, yes. And if the vote was done legitimately, he would win hands down. I think it would be a red wave, like fucking Nixon or whatever it was, when it was all but like Wisconsin fucking went red. The entire fucking map was red. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be something like that if the vote was correct. But, bro, like, there's so many different angles that they're coming at it from. And there's probably some states that have their voting situation more figured out. And there's definitely some other states that don't. And some of those states that don't happen to be swing states. And so, like, for instance, if he wins Wisconsin, I will be amazed because of the voting things that they've done in Wisconsin in the past 4 years have done nothing but to reinforce the cheat. Have done everything that they can to reinforce voter fortification or whatever the fuck they called it, right? So there's certain states that he's not. I mean, I will be very fucking surprised if he wins. There's other states like Georgia, like Georgia's done a lot in the other direction since the last election to clean up their voter rolls and like change the way that their elections work and fix the problems that they had. And, like I think Laura Trump, Trump's daughter, has been running a program where they're going around in all 50 states training people to be poll watchers and what to look out for and what terms to use. And, like they're training them. They're spending the money to go through and train these people. It pays some of them in some cases to go in and actually be poll watchers, which we didn't have in 2020. Like there are some like fucking white pills in here, right? And maybe there's enough fucking things going on. We talked about the I forget the name of the fucking the group, but they've got something like $150 million in an account ready to pay out to people who can prove election engineering. So if you happen to be like a poll worker, Democrat person who has a recorded meeting or something where they're going over how they're going to cheat, and you turn that in to this company, they're going to give you a fuck ton of money. And like, that's like, bro, that's putting some poison snakes in the pot, I think, on their side, right? Because like, you're just like a normal poll worker. You work at fucking McDonald's or whatever. You just happen to believe in the Democrat Party. And like, you don't know these people from anybody. You don't know who the fuck they are, and they don't know who the fuck you are. And I've got this opportunity to like turn in this recording that I made of our meeting last week and make $1 million. I might just do that. I don't, fucking look out for myself for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with Michigan. Michigan's another state where, bro, they've done everything that they can to reinforce the cheat.
Well, it's ironic because both Wisconsin and Michigan are doing the same shit they're trying to pull here in Ohio now, which is gerrymander us blue.
Yeah, they'd like do like a thing where, oh, this county or whatever, like this district is like 94% Republican, and then the other like 6 districts all around it are like 45% Republican, like 55% Democrat, so they're all like slightly Democrat leaning, So you get one fucking Republican county or whatever it is, district, and you get 6 Democrat districts out of it. Calhoun says, fuck it, I have $2. Read my last chat. You're dumb. You should do what you want. JK. You should do what I want. Sorry. I read it how I wanted to read it.
But no, what Michigan and Wisconsin did and what they're trying to do with issue 1 here in Ohio is basically take away the legislative process, which is right now our maps are drawn by the state commission that is all elected officials. And they want them to go into 15 people's hands that are not elected at all and can never be fired, even if they lie about being lobbyists.
Dude, like, we live... Honestly, bro, we live in probably the most corrupt country in the world right now. Because...
Yep.
We have the most power, so there's the most things to corrupt, and it seems like everywhere you look in this country, there's corruption. From like the city level. I mean, look at fucking Killdozer. That was a city level thing that drove him fucking mad, right? To a state level, like Ohio, okay, cool. Gerrymandering, everything's blue, got it. To a national level, if you're looking at, especially voting, but look at the fucking 3-letter agencies. Look at the fucking the capture of these 3-letter agencies by industry. Like, oh, I produce corn and I produce chemicals, and we're gonna work together and fucking go against the government to like lobby the government to feed people poison that we know is poison, that we're specifically leaving in the food because it's cheaper and we make more money when you eat the poison than when we do stuff to make sure that you don't have poison in your food, which would cost us more money. And we would make less, right? So they have every incentive in the world, just like corn as an example, to poison everybody and make more money because the government's for sale to the highest bidder. In some cases to the lowest bidder. But yeah, I mean, and the only one who's even talking about this stuff is fucking Kennedy, who's part of the Trump administration now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of like that they teamed up because I want them both to get some shit done, man. I hope we get the opportunity to have it.
Dude, if it was Kennedy versus Trump and Kennedy was running as the Democrat nominee, I would have a tough time not voting for Kennedy. I mean, I honestly think he believes what he's saying. I don't think he's part of the deep state fucking apparatus swamp. Maybe like he's got his toes in it or something, or at least he did at one point, right? But he believes in what he's saying. He's working for the good of the American people in some way or another, and the way that he's been concentrating on it is the seed oils and the fucking GMOs and the vaccines and the power lines and the cell phone radiation and everything else, dude. And we're all just fucking bathing in this shit, wondering why our cancer rates are going up, wondering why childhood obesity is a thing, wondering why like endocrine disruptors are in our fucking food and water and we have problems with gender identity. Like, maybe these things are related. Look at the Amish population. How many kids died of cancer in the Amish population last year? Anyone know?
No.
0. Do you know how many kids were diagnosed with autism last year in the Amish community?
0.
That's right. So they've got none of this shit going on in their community. Why? Well, it's because they're living like we used to live. Like people have lived for a really long time without all this technology around us. That's part of it. But another part is the food is clean. It's not made with a bunch of chemicals and industrial fucking equipment made to feed millions of people in cities miles away. It's meant to feed their children on their farm. Like they're going after raw milk. Why are they going after raw milk? That's a weird thing, right? Can't just sell raw milk in this country. Like literally you can't. It's against the law. The federal government will come into your fucking your milkery or whatever the fuck they call it, your dairy, and pour your milk on the fucking ground. What's up?
My barn. That's why you got to hillbilly swap it, dude. They can't. And I wonder if maybe that may be something they go for. Like, hey, you have milk, I have eggs and honey. Let's swap. Oh, hey, this gal down the road makes bread. Let's do some stuff, and then we don't have to make our own bread. Well, they want to stop all that, right? Because you do all that, and then you trade with the butcher. You have your entire food source locked down with 4 people that know how to do it and will probably teach their kids how to do it, and they can forever be out of the government's food system. They don't want that. They don't want you to have any sort of independence. They want you to take their shit filled with chemicals to the fucking brim to fuck you up, to make you a lifetime customer, to make you stupid.
Yeah, to make you sick. So now you're also a customer to the pharmaceutical companies who sell the drugs that make you not quite as sick and also way sicker, right?
Yep.
And now you need another drug to deal with the other thing that you're sick from the drug that you took, from the chemicals that were in the food, from the fucking government that was corrupt because people didn't stand up and say, fuck you. We don't care what you say, government. We're going to do whatever the fuck we fucking are going to do anyway. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and ain't nobody going to stop me. No fucking chat, no government, no nobody. You need that attitude, man. More people need that fuck you attitude. And it sucks because, like, people don't like you when you act like that. People don't like it when you're fucking standoffish and fucking, like, throw shit back in their face and have an argument for everything that they have to say. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable for us to do it either, you know? He's like going along to get along and fucking just going with the flow of things makes a lot of things a lot easier in the short term of life. But it's that big picture, long-term thing that you really got to think about, because we're only here for a little bit of time, and then we leave our kids behind, and then they leave their kids behind, God willing. And if you don't leave the country, the world, the planet, society, whatever you want to call it, in a state that is conducive for them, and you don't fight for their rights to have the same rights that you had, then they're going to be slowly eroded away to the point where they're non-existent. Like, we're going into a period of time in humanity where human beings, for the first time in history, are not a resource. They are a liability. And what do you do with liabilities? You mitigate them. You feed them poison so they die early. You make sure that they smoke cigarettes and do drugs. You work them to death. You know, make sure they don't get enough sleep at night. You know? That way, they die off early and you don't have to deal with them as much. You make sure they don't have kids. You put stuff in the food and the water to make sure that their testicles shrink up and they stop making testosterone.
Turn into fucking frogs, Gabe.
You outlaw or you fucking, I don't know, make taboo being a man. Being manly. Doing manly things is gross, right?
Yeah, it's an attack on masculinity.
Right. And why is that? Because they want less of us because we're becoming a liability. We're no longer when we were a resource, like the baby boomers era, you know, when they were first born, it's like the more children, the better. We need to have as many kids as we can possibly have in this country because the more kids that we have, the stronger our country is, the stronger our workforce is, the stronger our military is, the stronger our technology is, everything. And now it's like, man, people really eat a lot of food and make a lot of fucking methane gas and use a lot of fucking resources. It'd be cool if we had less of them because they don't really do very much for us anymore. I mean, think about like farming. Like that's a great example. Go back to the baby boomer era. Farms were around what, like 100 acres each? Like they were smaller farms and each farmer would have his like 100-acre plot. Now there's like 10,000 acre farms where it's like a team of like 5 dudes takes care of 10,000 acres and the equipment and stuff, you know, and they just like work their asses off and make a fuck ton of money, but then all the money goes to the bank somehow.
Yeah, it's because they can't afford to own the fucking farm equipment anymore and they have to rent it every year.
Yeah, well, that farm equipment ain't cheap, right?
Yeah, it's like $800,000 for a fucking combine, man.
Yeah, like a used combine.
Yeah,
Like a new one with all the equipment and all the GPS stuff and all the fucking bells and whistles. Talk to Matt about that. You used to sell those things.
Fuck yeah, man.
Well, I didn't sell.
Somebody-
I was a salesman, but yes, I worked there.
You built them with your fingers until your fingers bled.
Sure, something like that.
Thank you, Matt.
And then sold them to farmers one by one.
Well, again, I wasn't
Somebody
a
said
salesman,
they-
I was a manager, but yeah, no, those things cost like $500,000.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I guess when you're in farming, you make your money when you get out of farming. Right?
No,
When you
you're just in debt your whole fucking life until you're dead, and then your kids take your debt. Like that's how it is. It's
right,
It's
and
actually
then
disgusting.
eventually the kids get sick of farming, and whoever gets out of farming gets a huge payout for selling the farm and all the equipment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they pay off all the loans and take whatever's left, and that usually ends up being enough to where they're set for the rest of their life, but there's no farm to pass on to their kids now, is there? Hopefully a trust fund, but
What you got,
know what?
Lawfully?
You get sick with cancer and you fight it for a couple of years, there goes all your money. Good luck. Oh, someone's texting me. Hold on. Keep talking.
What you got, Lawfully?
I'm looking for the headline because I had heard it reported the other day, but I was going to try and link a source. But anyways, John Deere is getting ready to start another round of layoffs.
Oh shit.
They had some huge decrease in sales or something, whatever. Like they're doing bad. The last time that they've been this bad off, it was 50 years ago.
Yep, that's how you know depressionary status. When the farmers can't afford a farm, they got to use the old shit and rinky-dink it together.
Well, plus they have more, like John Deere used to be the only game in town pretty much, right? If you wanted a tractor, there was John Deere and there was Case. And now there's John Deere, there's Case, and then there's like weird Chinese brands that fucking make stuff that you can buy. Like there's fucking options now that aren't John Deere that are cheaper than John Deere.
I mean, there's always been John Deere, Case, Massey Ferguson, International Harvester. Those are the big four that have been around for a really long time.
Yeah, I forget. There's some new player from China though that's selling farm equipment for like significantly less with all the bells and whistles, but it's all Chinese made out of Chinesium metal and fucking
Yeah. Chinese
last.
pot metal.
Yeah, it's like fucking shitty versions of the American shit. So like you kind of get what you pay for, I guess.
Those
Let's not
main
forget.
four, which you always tend to see in truck and tractor pulls too.
Let's not forget Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, Lamborghini does make farm equipment.
Yep.
To quote a great leader, people are a resource.
This is
I hope
true.
that's a Hitler quote. I don't know.
From Kamala Harris herself.
CF Moto. Yeah, they're the ones making the fucking Chinese motorcycles that everyone's fucking crazy about now. Yeah, if you were gonna get a new bike, Matt, I would recommend you get a CF Moto for the money.
He
Honestly.
can't even get his old bike to him now.
That's true.
Right. That's Honda's bike. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, he bought that for Honda.
I don't know how everyone feels about Fiat cars, but I can tell you they're fucking safe.
Fiat.
I mean,
Yeah, there was a head-on collision in front of the shop yesterday, and this girl, like, we had a guy pull out of our parking lot and turn into oncoming traffic, and they collided driver's side on driver's side, and she hit him going, speed limit is 45. Everyone goes at least 50 through there to go with traffic. She hit him and came to a stop in a car length. It ripped her driver's side axle off and left it right where they collided. And like her and her kid just spilled out the passenger side door fine. The other dude was knocked unconscious.
What was he riding in?
Like a Chevy Equinox or something, a little SUV.
Fuck.
All
Doesn't
airbags
Fiat-
deployed.
yeah. Doesn't Fiat own the Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. I thought Fiat was an Italian company,
Yeah.
and they own Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep.
Yep.
Why is everything
For
so
several years
expensive?
now.
Like I remember when like Jeep, or not Jeep. Jeep was always owned by someone else, but like Dodge was owned by Dodge, and Dodge made Dodges, and Fords made Fords, and Ford was owned by Ford, and Chevy made Chevys, and Chevy was made by Chevy. And you know what I mean? Like, but now, like, even Harley, dude, Harley's like, oh, we're going to make parts in Mexico and assemble the bikes here.
Okay, they said that Fiat sold Chrysler to
Stellantis
was it
Group.
Stellantis? Yeah. So they used to have it. Okay.
Everybody's making shit in Mexico now because nobody fucking, they don't want to pay the fucking people in America because they actually cost money. You want to pay all the fucking slave labor around the entire world.
Right. And I mean, but then Ford used to own like Rolls Royce, something like that too, for a little while.
I don't
Don't
know.
get me lying. Maybe they handled import.
I mean,
No, I think
fucking
got a
look
piece
at
of it
all the things that Audi owns, or it's Volkswagen. Volkswagen owns Audi, and then they own Porsche, and then they own Lamborghini now. So they're building the Lambos, the Porsches, the Audis, and the Volkswagens. Probably something else too.
Jaguar. Okay, it was Jaguar. Okay.
That's all your American legacy gun brands, too, getting bought up by European firms. All the irony that Colt was the original importer of CZ for the first few years and then left CZ out to dry. And then now ultimately CZ owns Colt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ducati also, because Ducati's no longer owned. They're owned by, I think it's, fuck, I forget who bought Ducati, but it's not Ducati anymore. Which is actually for Ducati a good thing because their bikes kind of sucked before. They always had problems, which is why they didn't do very well. But yeah, I mean, like the Japanese bikes, they're all getting parts made in fucking India. All the parts, not all the parts, but a bunch of parts are made for all bikes in India, and they just make so many of them they send them everywhere. And it used to be like everything was made here. I mean, like post World War II, Europe was kind of decimated, so we were the only ones who still had like carrying capabilities of producing things and like the infrastructure to do so. So we made cars and sold them to the world. We made TVs and sold them to the world. We like everything back then.
Now we fucked ourselves by getting rid of all of our production.
And I heard something too. The same thing happening with Japan. They used to be the leaders of technology. Now they're fading away too. Also,
Yeah, now they're just leaders of hentai.
Well, they're aging out too, is what it is.
I still say we buy houses in Japan. We should all just like buy a house in Japan for like 10 grand. And we could have like a whole ass neighborhood of like America. We'd have like an American neighborhood, you know?
yeah.
They call it Little USA.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
like
for the
have
look-
barbecues in our backyards and invite the Japanese people over to try ribs for the first time or whatever. If a bike is made in India, isn't it technically an Indian?
At least it won't be overpriced like an Indian, right?
Yeah, Kawasaki, some of the lineup is made in Indonesia. Again, it's cheaper to do. It's cheaper to pay some Indonesians than it is some Japanese people who are, you know, highly educated first world country.
It's crazy how like Japan's people are aging out in China. Like within 10 years, they won't be able to feed their population. So they're going to basically North Korea on like it's such a massive scale. Obviously, North Korea is starving. It's crazy that the year of the 2024 that we have like a decade before there's like no continents. Like where are these? Are they going to just like not live there? Are they going to export? Are they all just going to get smoked? We're going to World War III it to clean up some of these populations, and land masses are going to change hands and value and things like that. We're about to see some pretty historic things in our lifetime, gentlemen.
That's very true. I think we're still on the precipice of World War III. I don't think that's changed. I think if Trump gets into office, it probably delays things for a little while.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Yeah, probably.
But I don't think it changes anything. Not geopolitically in the world stage in the long run. It just makes it so like I don't know. It's like that standoff in the old fucking Western film where everyone's got their hands on their gun and the fucking fucking song goes and everyone's like looking at each other. Like yeah, Trump's Clint Eastwood, and everyone's looking at him, waiting for him to make the first move. You know.
Has there been any other news about the North Koreans going into Ukraine?
Multiple sources have confirmed that they have yes, they have a bunch of people on the lines. They have some being trained. Some have been transitioned to the line. There's another batch of them being trained. Like they have to. They need it to feed their people. Just like they're selling women to fucking either China. I think China. They're selling women to China that they can actually basically breed with because apparently China's trying to bump up their numbers. You'd think they'd knock that shit off because they have a fucking bajillion, but you know.
But they haven't been in
the
battle
one-child policy from the 2000s.
They removed that, trying to increase their military.
What I'm saying though is, it's because of that they have to import women now because all the people that were there in China all wanted a male heir, and so they killed their females off. Is what it was. The babies.
Right.
Ain't enough sliz for all them peepees.
If you have a daughter, then you can't retire. But if you have a son, then you can.
Okay, so the North Koreans hasn't been in battle yet.
Yeah, I think they had
But just
3,000
train.
on the front line this week, something like that. It's not a lot, but
Oh, Calhoun says Negan from The Walking Dead back when it was decent.
oh yeah, he did say.
Were you
Back
saying
when
that
he
in
said
reference to,
people
like,
were a resource.
I forget when you said that. I'm sorry, I missed it in time.
People are a resource.
Mm.
Negan said this.
It's weird, but like you would think there would be a lot more on the news, though.
Well, you know, just not American news.
Well, the news is again the propaganda arm of the powers that should not be in our government, and I would say the Democratic Party, but there's certainly Republicans who are part of that power structure as well. And to say that it's just one side of the political aisle in our country is ignorant, because there are definitely some poison snakes in the well in the Republican side too.
There's a snake in my boots. Yes. Yes, indeed.
See, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to believe about the war in Ukraine anymore. Like, Ukraine is losing miles a day. Russia is pushing ahead. Oh, then Ukraine pushed Russia back, and then you know what I mean? Like, that's just fucking. It's too hard to keep up with. I'm tired of sending them money. I know that. I know that if like politicians talk about sending them another round of money, like the American people are pretty fucking fed up with it, and they're not gonna fucking stand for it too much longer, if at all. I think we're pretty much done sending Ukraine money. We're tired of funding the beginning of World War III, which is rapidly what this looks like it's becoming, with more and more countries being like, oh, yeah, we're going to send in troops too, because North Korea has troops, you know? And then it's going to be like, well, France stands with Ukraine, you know what I mean? Like, and then pretty soon it's like World War fucking III.
Yeah. And then you have the Israeli side where, like, you know, Turkey is like part of NATO, but they're like, oh, we're gonna fucking help out the Iranians, but then let us know what you guys are sending fucking Israel, NATO, so we know what to fucking counter with. Like, they're double agent, man. They're gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, you got China and Taiwan, you got Russia and Ukraine, you got fucking
Israel, Iran.
Iran. Well, Israel, fucking,
Israel versus everybody. Ding ding.
yeah, Israel.
Yeah, basically.
So it's a powder keg, man. There's sparks going off. It's only a matter of time till one of those sparks hits the powder keg and everything blows up.
Boom.
And I am still worried about my kids being involved with this fucking world war that I've been fighting against since I was their age. Because we've been seeing this coming for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget about Central and South America with the cartels.
In Canada.
Really, that's our biggest problem.
No, I think our biggest problem is we just let in like 25 million people in the last couple of years to this country, while countries around the world have been emptying their prisons and their mental institutions and sending them here.
Yep. No, we're probably all right.
I think it's only a matter of time till we reach like a tipping point in this country where it's like, oh, you're really not safe going to the store anymore. Oh, your wife is really not safe driving by herself in her car anymore.
Shit,
Oh, your kids are really not safe when you send them to school, and it's not because of a fucking like a boy girl shooting up the place. You know, it's other things going on.
Shit is already like that.
I think that's more of like it does happen, but it's like getting struck by lightning. You know, it's like the odds that it happens at your kid's school when he's at school. It's like hopefully that doesn't happen, but the odds of it are pretty fucking low. You know,
I mean, as far as it's not safe just walking to the corner store.
certainly not where you're
It's
at.
not.
It is in my neighborhood, baby.
And not really where I'm at, like certain times of the night or whatever. Like if I was like a 90-pound girl, I wouldn't go to the store at night around here. There's lots of fucking weirdo, probably like they would have been in a insane asylum mental institution if we were living back in the 50s or whatever. But instead they're living on the streets, and you go to the store and they're following you around, and you know, like me, I'm like hand on my gun, but I could also pick this guy up and drop him on his fucking head if I needed to.
Right.
So I don't even really need the gun. It's just there in case he's got like a knife or something, you know?
Honda just rolls up. Back up, Stinky. You always notice that all these foreigners smell like shit. Like you're
That's the
here.
thing,
Here,
right?
here, take a fucking bar of Irish Spring, would you?
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like fighting them means you actually have to touch them.
Yeah.
Right.
People ask me why do I go to the gym. Open air asylums are not safe. I mean, we're living in dude, certain parts of Denver, like not even where I live, because where I live is relatively safe compared to parts of Denver or parts of Aurora, especially. Like Aurora is like the worst fucking place in Colorado. And if you look at it on like a if you look at it on a map, it just looks like the eastern part of Denver, which it basically is. So East Denver is the worst place in Colorado. I just happen to live in South Denver, so it's a little bit nicer than that.
At the trailer park with the redneck boys.
Well, that's where all the Tren del Agua or whatever the fuck it's called took over the apartment complexes. East Denver. Anytime there's like some crazy fucking house party shooting or fucking weird fucking story about some people doing some shit to like an animal or something, East fucking Denver. Almost every fucking time, dude. Carjackings and home invasions and you name it, dude. Serial rapists.
Is there any company actively making bump stocks at the moment?
I don't know.
Just to switch topics here. I could get a pretty sick deal on a 20-inch Colt. And I was like, man, that'd be sick to set up with like a fucking drum mag.
If you Google bump stock, it's just okay. Let's do.
It's a lot of nonsense.
We're gonna do shopping.
Ooh.
Looks like there aren't any great matches for your search. Okay, let's go to Palmetto, and we're gonna do bump stock. My question is though, why would you want a bump stock?
To eliminate hogs quicker. For funsies, those ground squirrels never knew what hit them.
Well, I would say get a binary trigger instead.
Yeah, but
Get
I
a
would figure
fucking an echo trigger.
Yeah, I know, but I thought the bump stock would be a much cheaper option.
If you can't find them,
Yeah.
like the Echo Sport 2 trigger, I think those are only like $200. They're not that expensive.
I know, but I was trying to move out of of course, bump stocks, but thinking of the realm that, like, that's the reason why I shit can my pistol AR is just, it could come back around in some legislation, I think, which probably the bump stock would too. So, fuck me.
I mean, I had 3 of them that I brought in a boat with me. And
Turns out,
I lost them all in a boating accident.
oh, Honda.
Oh, God.
They're now at the bottom of a lake, river, ocean somewhere.
You need
Lake
to be
River
looking-
Oceans are the worst place to fish, Honda.
Yeah, but if I was going to get another one, I would definitely get an Echo trigger. That's the best of them.
Yeah, I think those are probably going to get some scrutiny here.
The binary triggers?
Yeah, you don't think they've been fighting back and forth with that shit for
Well, I
a
was
hot
going to say,
minute?
the binary triggers aren't as good as the Echo triggers. They do the same thing, but like the Franklin Armory trigger does not have an override mechanism that stops everything from happening if you move your finger too fast. So you end up with a dead trigger with a live round in the chamber.
Oh, no.
Versus the Echo trigger, it costs a little bit more, but it does have that mechanism that stops the trigger or the hammer from falling if the bolt's not in place yet.
Okay.
So, like, your odds of having a malfunction with the Echo trigger are significantly less than with the binary trigger.
It's probably the way to go then.
For sure. Plus, it's, like, actually controllable. Like, if you practice with it a little bit, like, you actually get pretty good with it versus, like, a bump stock. You'd have to practice a lot, I think, to get good with it.
Yeah, that's true. I was kind of thinking, hey, throw some fucking tard and some sandbags in Minecraft and say, light them up, Sparky.
Yeah, with like the Echo trigger, you give it to a 12-year-old and just be like, light them up, Sparky.
Damn, those ground squirrels are fucked.
Ghost Shadow says Echo/binary triggers are already illegal in Washington State.
Fuck Washington.
Honda is making the frogs non-binary. I like that.
I also like that.
The Colorado Sea is very turgid. Yeah, I like like that. That was good. Good job, guy that comments. You got me. Yeah. Do you guys have? Let's do a little gun talk. Fuck it. I'm out of things to talk about politically. It's just making me angry anyway. You guys have any guns that you're looking at buying that you don't have? Because honestly, like I'm at the point where something's really got to be special or different in a good way, or like better than what I have and cheap. You know what I mean? For me to even think about buying anything at this point.
Only 2.
How many guns? Okay, how many ish? That's a bad question to ask. Never mind. Don't answer that. Which 2 guns are you looking at buying?
43X and a 308 AR-10 of some sort. Probably just going to pick up a Saber from PSA because it's a good all-around decent package for cheap.
Dude, I've got a PSA AR-10. It's a PA-10 Gen 1. I think they're on the Gen 2 or 3 now. I forget what generation they're on as far as their own internal designs on the rifle, but mine's been great, dude. The Gen 1 from the get-go has never had a problem. I mean, it's stainless barrel and it's 16-inch, so I don't like that so much. I wish it was like the 18 or 20 if I'm going to go with the 308. But it's plenty fucking accurate. It shoots 308 all fucking day. It's never had a fucking problem. So, yeah.
Yep. I've been thoroughly impressed with my Saber AR, which if Infernus was here, he would tell me I was garbage. But yeah, it's run pretty well for me.
Well, you know, Infernus shot first in his class today. Did you shoot first in your class?
No, I saved my ammo because I'm a poor.
Well, you know, if you shoot first in your class, then maybe you could tell people things too.
Yeah. I also want to pick up a Mantis Blackbeard and the Mantis pistol system just to save money. That's probably my Black Friday purchase.
Mantis Blackbeard? What the fuck is that?
It's the one that you can run basically their bolt carrier and mag for an AR. So you can actually get multiple trigger without like resetting it. So you can actually shoot like it's a 30-round mag.
I did not follow what you just said, but okay.
So like on the very first iterations, you'd have to like keep resetting your pistol or your charging handle, whatever, and you get like one shot. You can actually sit there and shoot it like it's a real mag. So you could do like 15 rounds if you wanted, or mag dump, or 5 rounds, 3 rounds, 5 rounds. And it's all like laser. It's a little bit better actual training.
Oh. I see what it's a laser system for an AR-15. That's the part I missed.
Yeah, that would be the most important part of that whole thing.
Yeah, that's why it didn't make sense. That's cool.
That would be cool.
I still think paintballing or airsofting is good training too, to be honest. Even if your fucking gun doesn't exactly work the same as your fucking carry sidearm or your AR-15 that you should train on all the time and know inside and out like it's the inside of your vagina. But even laser tag, bro. Fucking laser tag's great training for working in a group of people and trying to fucking move forward. And yeah, it doesn't hurt when you get shot, but you still don't want to get shot, because then you gotta like take your time out or whatever the fucking rules are.
In your vagina.
Plus, you're running around, you're moving, you're doing stuff. You're finding out if you perhaps have a problem with your cardiovascular system. You start running around with like a fucking, a laser tag vest on, and you start sweating all over the fucking teenagers in the fucking laser tag place. Like, that ain't good. Maybe you should start with the gym.
Yeah. Honda likes to sweat all over teenagers. Pass it along.
I try not to.
Sometimes you just can't help it.
Laser tag connected to shock collars.
That'd be sweet.
That sounds like terrible. Yeah, Calhoun, I totally agree, and I think it's honestly fun too. like going paintballing with your friends and working against like a bunch of teenagers or whatever. Like you got the teenage crew, and you got like that super serious crew who's got like jerseys and stuff, and you got like the fucking OGs who were probably in the army together. See how you guys do versus other people, and you're like, man, if this was the zombie apocalypse and that was Negan's group, we'd be fucking being eaten right now. It sucks.
That's
Yeah.
when Honda loads a real gun and says, I'm going to fucking take the first place trophy home. In Minecraft.
Anyway. All right, guys. Well, we've been going about an hour and a half, which is how long we normally go for the Gay Frog Chat. So we're going to go ahead and start winding it down now, I think. Do you guys have any last-minute subjects or announcements? Never Enough Ammo's pregnant again?
My penis is hard.
Again? Never enough ammo.
Thank you for telling everybody.
You heard sweating on teenagers and he couldn't help it.
It happens.
Well, in that case, we will see you guys all tomorrow night for the Guns and Geeks podcast on Never Enough Ammo's channel. And as always, we will be back on Tuesday for a little 2A Taco Titties and Tuesdays with your boy E Honda and friends. And until then, I hope you guys have a good night. I hope everybody has a good morning, a good day of work tomorrow, and that you kick some ass. Kick somebody's ass. Go punch a Somali. No, wait, don't do that.
No,
Get
don't
fit.
do that.
All right, y'all. Deuces.